Hi everyone, it's Miss Laura. Welcome to your Code Your Name program. Today I'm going to have a little brief video on how to write your name using two different type of coding systems, the Morse code and the binary code. It's not going to be a very long video because mostly what you're going to need is this template that I have shared with you in the description of this video. This is what I'll be using to help you kind of guide you through the program, and then you can use this template to basically write your name or any word that you want. And when you're doing that, you can make it fun, you can decorate it, you can use different materials, you can use pen and paper and just make it simple, or you can make it super fancy. You can also use people make necklaces using this technique. They make jewelry. They make lots of different options that you can find more about if you search it online. But today we're just going to learn how to use a code to create our names with these two different coding systems. Okay, so on our list, the first one on the top is the binary code and then the Morse code. I'm actually going to talk about the Morse code first. So if you print this out, we'll be talking about these lower ones first, okay? So looking at the template, we have the alphabet system using the Morse code. Now, coding is used for many different reasons, but mostly it's to communicate something in a different format. For example, with Morse code, you are looking to communicate with someone by creating words in a common language that isn't letters. Morse code has been used over time for a very, very long time, and not necessarily in its written form that we're going to be using it in today, but definitely more in the visual and the audible, the hearing way to communicate. So you may have heard of ships in like the Titanic and a lot of the older ships using telegraph systems, and they like to use Morse code because they didn't have the way to communicate that we were now, where you just pick up the telephone and you're talking to someone with your words and they're able to communicate. What they used was Morse code, which was a system using dots and dashes to communicate letter by letter. So basically they're spelling out words letter by letter using Morse code. And when I say dots and dashes, when it comes to a telegraph system, it's sounds. So a shorter sound is a dot, and a longer sound, about twice as long as the dot, is a dash. The most common example you'll see of this is SOS, which is something that ships will send out if they are in distress and they need help. So if they are, if they're Titanic and they just hit an iceberg and they're about to sink, they would send out an SOS so that neighboring ships would hear it and then they could send help to them. And how we would do an SOS in Morse code is 3 dots, 3 dashes, and 3 dots. So it would be something like dot, 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 dash, 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 dot, dot, dot. You see how I did the dots quickly and the dashes slower, and a space in between so they can determine that they're different words. Using our template, we can see that the S is 3 dots, dot, 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 and the O is 3 dashes, dash, dash, dash. Now I'm using dash and dot. In the telegraph world, it actually uses little beep. So it's like beep, 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 beep. And that was how they could communicate back in the day before they had these more high-tech systems that allowed you to just say the words that you wanted to say. So they would literally go letter by letter and describe it using sounds, using Morse code, which we see right here. And then they would spell out a message across across the country, across the ocean, using this system right here. So each letter has a unique form of dots and dashes. The dots are a short sound, the dashes are a little bit longer sound. People also use this with lights. So if you are not close enough to someone where you can hear them, but maybe you can see from far away, some people use a flashlight and they will make flashlights quick for dots and then holding the light a little bit longer for a dash. And that is how they would do it with light versus sound or versus writing out the dots and the dashes. These are great ways to communicate across a little bit of distance, close enough that you can see someone, to do letter by letter when you aren't able to hear them. So that's Morse code. And on this template, you'll see that you have an example of how to write your name in Morse code. This example is for a boy named Anthony. And we start with an A. A is dot dash. So we have dot dash, and then the N being dash dot, and then T, H-O-N-Y, and so forth, making sure we put a space in between so we can determine when they are changing. So to write your name in Morse code, you can pause this video, maybe take out a piece of paper to practice, write your letters down. I would write L-A-U-R-A, and then right below it, write the dots and the dashes, and that's how you would get your name in Morse code. From there, you can move forward and try to use a flashlight to sign your Morse code using light, or even using beeps and dashes. You can do it with sound. Okay, so that's Morse code, and that is been around for a very long time, and that is on the template on the bottom. Now, the other code that I have on this template for you to use, and it's a little bit of a fun one, is binary code. Binary code is actually what tells the computer what to do. So if you have a computer and you're typing in words or typing in commands into the keyboard, it's actually only reading it as ones and zeros. And those ones and zeros are telling the computer what to do. So the computer recognizes different letters as different combinations of ones and zeros. And if you want to learn more about this, you can always research it. I'm not going too much in depth for it, but we have the template here that we can see is the alphabet using binary code, using ones and zeros. So my name being Laura starts with an L. To write an L in computer code, you'd have to write 01001100. All of that will equal an L on the screen. And in this case, so I was writing it out, like Anthony below, you would write out all the zeros and ones for each letter with a space in between, and then keep going for each letter, making a space in between using the code from above here in our template. Some people use this as a way to kind of make it more fun with ones being a certain colored bead and zeros being another type of bead. For example, like if zeros were white and ones were red, they could make like a necklace of all red and white beads when it would really spell out their name being, 01000010, being the letter, but really being a combination of white and red beads. And if that was not clear on how to do that, there are resources online that will show you different types of necklaces that are written with this binary code, people writing out their names in different colored beads, one being a certain color and zero being a different color. So that's an option for you to do this when we're doing our Code Your Name program. If we were doing in person, that would be something that we probably would be doing. But for today, we are just going to be learning how to write our name using the templates. And that is, once again, available in the description below. So for this, you'll write out your name just like Anthony, right above it. And then below, you start writing the numbers that correspond to the letters. So I have A, and A is 01000001. I think I missed a zero. 01000001 is a tricky one. And that would be just the letter A. The next symbol being N is written as 01001110. It's very important that you pay attention to how many zeros or ones you have for each letter, because if you don't have enough zeros or you mix up a 1 and 0, it's going to say something completely different. So all of these zeros and ones looks like nonsense to us, but to a computer, this says Anthony. Yeah. To a computer, when I write my name out in zeros and ones using this template, it says Laura. So the computer reads the zeros and ones and then gives us on the screen what we wanted to say. All right, that's pretty cool, right? So using the top of your template, you write your name using binary code. And those are the two different codes that we're going to do today. That's not the only type of codes that you can use to write your name or to use for letter coding. And if you want to learn more about that, come to the library. We have books on it. We can help you find resources on the internet, or you can do your own research at home and come and tell us about all the different types of codes that you learned how to use to write your name. All right. If you do choose to make a necklace or you make a very fancy picture that uses the code, please post online and tag us in the picture so we can see it. Otherwise, come to the library and we can take a look at that there too. That would be a lot of fun. Any questions, you can always email us at youth@phlibrary.org. That's youth at phlibrary.org. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. I hope you have fun writing your name, writing all sorts of words. You can write a whole message if you want. In fact, if you'd like to write a message in Morse code or binary code and email it to me or email it to the youth librarians, you can. So if you write an email with all zeros and ones in it that spell out something cool, we will read it and we will respond. That will be at youth@phlibrary.org. youth@phlibrary.org. All right, guys, have fun.